outline today, and what are the topics that we are going to cover. We'll talk about in this particular session. So just give me some time, guys. I'll be sharing my screen and we'll start off.
And guys, one thing, few of the people are enrolled for Super Firewall combo, which includes Palo Alto, Checkpoint, and F5. So Palo Alto we are starting today, and Checkpoint we are starting from this coming Saturday, 11 a.m. So if you already enrolled, please ask support team to add you in that particular portal also. Okay. Yeah, good sir. From my side, now you can start.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Gaurav. Okay. Let me share my screen, guys. I expect everyone to have the screen visible for you. Can somebody
Yes,
confirm?
it is visible.
Yeah, nice. Okay. So as we are moving towards a new track of certification from
Hello,
networks. Yeah.
hello. Hi, sir. Your voice is coming low. I am not able to hear properly.
Is it for everyone or is it only specifically for Praful?
I think with the Praful.
Just raise your hands whether my voice is clearer
Yeah,
or
it's clear, sir. There is no issue. Praful, can
okay.
you check from your end?
Sir, it's clear, so no problem.
Okay.
For me, it's fine. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Voice is clear.
Okay, fine. So guys, we are moving to a new certification track for Palo Alto Networks from today. So today, the PCNSE, it's the exam is getting expired and we are going into the new track of it. We are going to talk about what are those, and if you complete this particular course, what exam you are eligible for, and and what are the topics that we are going to cover in that particularly. So we are going to see that. Okay. Now, if I talk about the certification path, if you want to explore by yourself, you can basically go to this particular link, which I'm pasting into the chat of Zoom. You can just go to this particular link, and or else you can just search for Palo Alto certification in Google, and probably the first search result will be this one, the Palo Alto Network Services Education and Certification, right? Now, if I scroll down a little bit further, you can see three platforms are there. I'm going to explain you what are those platforms are. Okay. Right now, we are going to focus on network security, right? So in network security, we have some foundation courses, which is basically introduction of cyber security, understanding of what is attack, what is this, that, like it is basically a basic of or understanding of an security point of view. These are the courses of foundational, right? Now, if you go further, which we are going to talk about, like the network security professionals, okay? Now, our focus will be as the PCNSE is getting retired today. So we are going to focus on these two things, which is network security analyst and next generation firewall engineer, right? As we are going to focus on this particular certification, next generation firewall engineer, as we are covering more of the topic, whatever that is there in the next gen firewall, okay? You can also be eligible for network security analyst as well. So this is what we are going to do in this particular our course journey. Now let's explore what is there in the network security analyst and next generation firewall. Let's open the next generation firewall. Okay. So this is network analyst. Let's explore the next generation firewall engineer. Let's download or let's open the blueprint. Now, if you go, it's been published in January 2025. Okay. And if you want to give this particular examination, it is 90 minutes multi-choice questions, MCQ, and the cost would be 250 USD, right? Now, after that, if you go down a little bit, these are the topics which you are going to see in this particular examination, okay? And which we are going to cover as well. So layer 2, layer 3, virtual wire, tunnel interfaces, aggregate interfaces, and management, okay? So how we can configure all of these interface types, okay? How can we configure the zones, okay? As well as we are going to see how can we configure high availability, right? So high availability, like let's say for an example, if you are building a site, right? So whether we should have a high availability design or not, whether we should have, or what kind of modes, whether active, passive. So we are going to discuss that as well, right? Then the routing as well. So routing is basically our the routing protocols that we can configure, the OSPF or static routes or BGP or something like that. We are going to see that as well. Okay. And also we are going to see how a virtual router works inside Palo Alto Firewall. Okay. And apart from that, we are going to see how remote VPN works. How can we configure a side-to-side VPN, which is actually very important because most of the industries or most of the company have a global protect, like basically the remote VPNs and also side-to-side VPN as well. Then we have something called as our configuration related to VCs, okay? Logging, PAN-OS, our SSL decryptions, and our user ID as well. Now, how that user ID, identification of the user. Let's say for an example, a user is trying to access some resources, maybe from data center, maybe from, for an example, internet, some URLs, some applications. So how can I identify the user? Okay. Now, let's say for an example, mostly if you are known, like you create some kind of access policies or access list inside the routers. So in access list, what we are going to do, we are just putting in a statement or matching some statement in access list, right? Same way here also, we are going to match on some IP addresses, right? So if this is the source, if this is the destination, allow or deny whatever the action that I want to take, I can do that basically, right? But in user ID, we are not going to see, we are going to see the IP address, but as well as we are going to find out the user as well. Now, maybe user is sitting in site 1, site 2, site 3, wherever he is sitting at, basically, he'll be able to, the Palo Alto can find the user and he'll give access based on it, right? And also we are going to see the certificates as well. So basically what happens in certificates, yes, there are a lot of background noise that is coming from you. I'm just muting all, okay? Now in certificates, what happens is basically, let's say for an example, if a user is trying to access a server can be an HTTPS connection. So in that particular case, what happens is the HTTPS connection will be encrypted from the user machine to the server. Now, if firewall is there, he'll not be able to see what the data they gets exchanged from this particular machine to the server. Now, during that time, we have to do SSL decryption. What is decryption? Basically, he'll see what is there in the encrypted data. So how can we configure it? How the PK infra? We are going to understand that as well. As well as the logs as well. How can we organize the logs? How can we see the logs? How can we generate reports? We are going to see those as well, right? Then we have something called as how can we configure a web proxy on, it is basically a very small topic, which we are going to see, okay? Just to enable the web proxy inside the PAN-OS, okay? And then we have installation selection and what are the modes and where we can configure Palo Alto Firewall, which we are going to cover. I'm going to tell you. We can have a hardware, we can have a virtual device, we can have a clusters, we can have a Prisma. Like there are multiple ways we can deploy firewalls, which we are going to understand that. Okay. And how can we automate? This is just a understanding of it, right? And after that, we are going to see how can we configure the panoramas, like how can we manage the firewalls through panorama. We are going to see that as well. So this is the part of your next generation firewall. These are the topics which will be there in the next generation firewall certification examination, which is pretty much very easy to cover everything. But if you compare with PCNSC, like it was really huge. If I just wanted to show you, it has so many things inside. NAT and all those wildfire device groups, troubleshooting, and it is very, very huge. But if you go for next generation, it is very easy, and it doesn't have that kind of blueprint or the topics inside this. Now, if I talk about the security analyst, if I try to show you the blueprint of it as well. Now here you will be seeing the security profile, security groups, like how can you configure URL filtering, application control, data pattern, file blocking, all of this. How can you do a log forwarding profiles, all of this, which we are going to see in this as well, right? So if whatever the topics that we are going to cover, it is not for only one certification, you are going to cover the other certification as well. So you are going to get more advantage on this particular part. I can talk about that as well. Right. And then we have how can we configure a security policy and apply the app ID, apply the URL filtering, apply the file blocking and the content ID and all those things. How can we configure policies? And as I was talking about the decryption, how can we apply the decryption policy? And we have policy-based forwarding and other things as well, right? After that, we have something called as how can we configure again the using the management what you called as panorama. How can we optimize the policies? How can we configure those policies? We are going to see that as well. And we'll be doing some kind of troubleshooting as well. Like I'll be also including myself, my experience to every classes, every topic that I'm going to cover. I'll be covering those troubleshooting part as well. Like let's say for an example, in site-to-site VPN, what kind of troubleshooting we'll do. In user ID, what kind of troubleshooting we'll do. What kind of recent issues that I have worked with. Like I'll be explaining that to you guys as well. So those things will be there for sure. Guys, all of this will be on the lab only. So don't worry about the things like I'll be covering all of these topics mostly in the labs. Okay. Now I'll be talking about how can we cover all of this topic, how the classes will be, we'll try to understand that particularly. Okay, so let's open a notepad and I'll explain you how the topics will be covered. Okay. Now the classes will be like this. Okay. So let's say for an example, if I talk about site-to-site VPN, let's say, so site-to-site VPN. Okay. So First of all, I'll be talking about a concept one, like what is the concept behind a site-to-site VPN, why it is used, where we can use, what is the use case of it, which we are going to talk about as a concept, which is basically a theory part. Then once you understand, once you are good with the theory part, we'll go for a lab. We'll try to do a lab. Okay. Now, through the lab as well, I'll be explaining you how to configure it, what are the parameters that you have to configure, each and everything. Okay. And then I'll be telling you some kind of troubleshooting scenarios where we can see what kind of fixes that we can apply. And this is very important for our real world production scenarios as well. Okay. How the traffic flow will be, because until and unless you understand the traffic flow, you'll not be able to troubleshoot as well, right? So you should understand the troubleshooting part before you understand this flow. That is the reason we are having the concept and the lab, right? And I'm going to include the experience of mine in here. What are the fixes that I have applied over there? What is basically common issue? Not basically I'll talk about the debug or bugs kind of thing. No, not that. Okay. Now the classes will be daily. It will happen from Monday to Friday. Okay. And it will happen from 8:30 p.m. to 10 p.m. Okay. It will be basically a 40 hours class. Okay. We have just putting more efforts into this particularly. Okay. And basically it's not that key. We basically count the hours, like how many we have covered it and what is left. We don't do that. Basically for every topic we have some kind of hours, but we don't count those hours and all. But yeah, we basically ensure that the candidate understands that basically the whatever the batches I'm taking, all the candidates understand the technology, understand the topic, what I'm going to cover or what I'm covering right now. Okay. At least this should go to office, or maybe if they are working professionals, at least they can do some hands-on production environment. So I basically ready every candidate so that they can go and configure rules, troubleshoot something, and at least configure whatever topics that I'm going to cover in this particular course. Okay. So it is basically if I tell you, it is basically said that 45 days. I'm talking of 45 days, Monday to Friday. You don't take it as overall 45 days, not like that. Okay. Now, if you guys are okay to have more extended classes to finish it faster, then we can go ahead, or else we can just go through slow. But basically it depends on the batches, how I'm going to talk or how they are taking those topics. Okay. So it basically depends on that particularly. So these are the things will be there. Okay. How can you access the lab, which I'm going to cover once we start the day 1 or day 2, whenever we have that particular topic, we are going to cover how can we access the lab. I will show you a sample lab for you guys. Okay. So let me show you the lab over here. Yes, the lab will be in EveNG. Absolutely. So this is our EveNG. I'm logging into it. Okay. So this is just an example of site-to-site VPN. As you can see, we have few devices, and for every topic I have created a specific lab for every topics. So let's say for an example, if I log out this one, no, sorry. I have to basically close the labs, but by mistake I've logged it out. So let me log in there, close the lab, and you can see for TAP, for vWire, for routing, for URL filtering, for Uthernet SSL decryption user ID, and for every topic we have basically a lab. And there are few labs which I'm going to take one of the lab and I'll do it, because that is possible in mostly all the labs, like configuring something like file blocking. So I can take any of the lab and I can do it, right? So for that, we don't have any specific scenarios because we are just blocking. We are creating a security profile to block some file types. Like I want to block PDF files. So I can use any of the labs, right? So for an example, the thing is like it has to be connected to internet, that's all. So the PC will try to access some files and the Palo Alto Firewall will block it. Simple. So this is how we can use any of the labs to do that topic. We don't have any specific scenario for those topics. Okay. Any questions if you guys are having? I can have some questions over here. How long we can access to the lab environment? So you can access the lab anytime throughout the day, throughout night, 24/7, any time that you can access. Okay. And till how long you have to basically get a confirmation from NW King's team, so they can guide you for that. How till what time you can basically access? You are asking for 45 days, 60 days, 1 year, 6 years, or something like that, right? Can we create an individual lab? So you cannot basically create any individual labs. Okay. That is restricted. And if you want me to create, I can create it for you and I can give it to you. Okay. It's not lifetime, guys. Okay. Okay. So basically, we are covering all the topics for 2 exams. Yes, we are covering. So mostly, I cannot say we are going to cover the whole topics for all those certification. Our target to have a next generation firewall topics. But yeah, as we are going to cover that, the analyst as well somehow. If PCNSC is not available now, it is an issue. Okay, crack the interview if you follow the. Yes, absolutely. See, they. I'll talk about the Cisco certification path. Like if I talk about CCNA, right? So in CCNA, what it was there 10 years before. I'm talking about 10 years before. Okay. So whatever the topic was there, it was like maybe less, maybe more. Nowadays they have different tracks, right? So for wireless, they have a different CCNA. For this, they have like for security, they have different CCNA track and all. So it's not that little topic here and there will be there. Okay. So you don't need to be worried about how the interview or something like that. You just need to focus on the topic what I'm going to cover. So that basically gives you an idea that how can we tackle those interview questions as well. Okay, so don't worry about that. We'll test the troubleshooting like sniffer, debug, please confirm. Okay, so debug and sniffing, it will be there. I will tell you how to debug the traffic. How can you do a packet capture into Palo Alto Firewall, which for sure I'll show you. So don't worry about that. Okay. Now, if you are asking me about, I explained the Wireshark, how the Wireshark filters and all those things are working. I'm not going to tell you those things. Okay, but yeah, I can capture it. I can show you how can you trace something, or how can you debug, and how can you understand, how can you read a debug messages. That is for sure, it will be there. Okay.
Regarding this analyst part, so are you going to use some Splunk tool, or it will be just we are troubleshooting on some dashboard only?
We are going to do troubleshooting on dashboard, not on Splunk.
Okay, thank you.
No problem. See, end of the day, you are going to see the logs, right? So logs will be there visible inside the Palo Alto Firewall as well as in Splunk. Splunk will have more parameters, but here you will have less parameter. But the parameter will be sent by Palo Alto only. So the
Makes sense.
parameter you see there or here, it is the same, right?
Yes, makes sense.
Any other questions, guys?
Thanks, sir. Good evening. So,
Yes.
Hello.
I'm working as a senior network engineer for last
One.
2 years.
Uh-huh.
My company doesn't use any firewall right now.
Mhm.
So, but I have a like average exposure of routing protocols like BGP, OSPF, these
Mhm.
things.
Mhm.
And also, I want to move to a better opportunity and chase a new goal. So I joined this batch to gain the experience about the firewall. But sir, like the industry, how to move in like where I don't have any firewall concepts. So
Mhm.
what you will be suggesting me that okay if this course got completed or which part of this course I will be more focusing on. If you can guide me on that, it would really help.
Sure. Ajit, I will address this question. I'll be answering all, like if others has the same kind of questions, you can take this particular answer for now. Okay. And if you have further questions or any further queries, we can have a discussion in the class. Okay. But right now, I'll just answer this particular question. So yeah, definitely, let's say if somebody is trying to move from network to network security, it is basically very easy to move from network to network security, because at it in some of the company this is the requirement. You should know network and you should know security of the firewall as well. And if you have both, it added advantages to the engineer to get a job. Okay. So yeah, it's very good, and it is not that you are going to start from some kind of advanced level. No, it is not. You are going to use, or we are going to start with the basics. So to understand this network security analyst or the next generation firewall, the certification, it starts with basics only. So we are going to cover from basics, like at least you should know how you should have a idea of network, OSI model, TCP, IP address, subnetting, and all those things, right? So if you know all of this or the CCNA topics, if you understand and you're good with that, I guess there will be no problem understanding firewall. Okay, so the way you understand the topic inside CCNA is the same way you are going to also understand. It's kind of a topic. It's nothing that you cannot do. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sir, I have a question.
Yes. Yeah.
Apart from this video lectures and video classes, will you get any kind of study materials like PDF files and any official documents or anything from your documents?
If I just wanted to tell you, like, I'm having a very hard time to understand what you're saying because your voice is not clear. If anyone can understand him, you can just tell me. I can help him to answer the question, or maybe you can put on the chat as well. I can answer you
Sir,
because you.
I think
as
sir
I,
is asking for completion certificate, something like that.
no.
Yes, definitely.
Hello. Hello. This is not my question. My question is, apart from this video classes and lectures,
Mhm.
will we
Mhm.
get anything anything from like study materials in PDF forms or any PowerPoint or any slides like that? No?
Yes. You are going to get it. You're going
Okay.
to get a book. You're going to get a PDF. Sorry, slides and all. You're going to get it.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Any other questions anyone has? I'll take the silent as no. Thank you so much for joining, guys, for today. And thanks for your time. Sir, I want to ask any questions sometime. Okay. Yeah, definitely. I just wanted to add one more thing here as well. In my classes, if you have some issues understanding in English, or you wanted to repeat me in Hindi, that is also possible. You can do that as well. Not all the topics or all the classes will be happening in Hindi, but yeah, some of those things can be asked in Hindi as well. There is no problem. Okay.
Just one question,
Okay, sir.
Vikas. Is there a prerequisite for the exam?
For what?
For the
Okay.
Palo Alto exam, is
Yes,
there a
yes.
prerequisite?
I guess there is nothing. You can basically go and give examination directly for analyst or next generation firewall engineer. You can do that. There's no problem in it.
Okay, thanks.
It basically, if you go and try to read the blueprint, it basically suggests you some recommended training. But as you have already done the CCN and you are okay with the topics that which is there in the blueprint, you are good with the examination. You can do that.
All right,
Sir, from
thanks.
when the regular class will start, sir? From tomorrow?
Yeah, regular classes will be confirmed by the bookings. Okay? We will confirm you the dates. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Sir,
Thank you.
sir, one question. In case of we miss the class, can we take the recording?
Yes, yes, yes. Recording will be available. So let's say for an example, today the class happened. Tomorrow morning or by afternoon or maximum by evening, the recording will be uploaded.
Thank you.
Yeah.